All right, so today we're making money from Theo Von. The game is we watch a clip and we come up with business ideas, side hustle ideas, ways to make money based on that clip or ideas for existing businesses. You ready to go, Casey?
Gang, bruh.
All right, first clip. Ready?
Dude, well, what happened to me? I had a traumatic experience. I seen 3 gay dudes throwing a Frisbee in a Hampton Inn hot tub, like a big hot tub. And to this day, yeah, it was just the most craziest thing I'd ever seen in my life.
Wait, what part was crazy?
The fact that it was like kind of like a little sport, and they were only sitting like 4 feet from each other. And that they kept throwing this little Frisbee to each other.
I love that you described that as like would you say a crazy experience?
Oh, yeah, it fucking broke my heart. Because that's when I knew that our military was done. That's when I knew, dude.
Oh, God.
That
for me, it sounds like a party broke out, though.
Yeah, you're right. I think I got to
know?
And a lot of it for me is a perspective issue. It's like I show It is, man. I show up with a negative perspective. I'm like,
I love you.
Okay, what you got?
Man.
I mean, it's a great, but funny clip. It's kind of like a classic Theo Von podcast clip where you're just like, what? And also that's hilarious.
Yeah. Man, nothing shakes loose immediately. I'm thinking rainbow Frisbees, more like indoor type Frisbees.
Yeah.
Product fits there.
Mm-hmm.
As far as that traumatic experience, I don't know, some online therapy.
What's the gay men's dating app again?
Grinder?
How did you know that though?
Bro.
Okay, so to me, instantly, this is a stitch for a Grinder ad, right? So I had a traumatic experience. I saw 3 gay men throwing a Frisbee in a Hampton Inn, stitch, and they met on Grinder. So Grinder ad right there. So you're welcome. You're welcome to Grinder
or that. Hampton,
or Hampton. Hampton, we're gay Frisbee friendly.
Yeah,
We've always said at Hampton that we're friendly to gay men who want to throw a Frisbee in the hot tub.
We support the LGBTQ Frisbee community.
I do think it's funny that they were sitting in like a small hot tub throwing a Frisbee like a couple feet away from each other.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't know. Sometimes you just want to have a catch. You want to throw a Frisbee with each other.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got one. Here's like a real kind of like side hustly idea that if you're kind of like have some friends in your town, you could totally do. I think like, you remember how when we were like in high school, we used to make up games, like
sure.
By make up games, I mean, like, for example, there was one called Garbage Ball that got very popular at our high school, where we basically played beer pong with garbage can, so garbage can on both ends of the lunchroom, 2 people on each team. We throw a wiffle ball, try and hit it into the garbage, try and throw it into the garbage can. There's some sort of scoring system where if you throw from further back, you can get more points and stuff like that. And like, it got like kind of popular. A lot of people played it. We would skip all the periods after lunch, after they like cleaned out the garbage and everything. We would skip all the periods after lunch and play a garbage ball. I think we made up other games similar to that.
Oh, for sure.
I think here's the business is you do a thing where it's like a once a month thing where you get people together and you say, all right, here's the game. And you make up a game and it's like a monthly fee. They pay like a monthly fee for like, I think in a lot of cities, obviously there's like rec leagues and stuff like that for sports, but I think in a lot of cities there's like these like meetup type of things where you're like trying to like meet up, and there's like a social sports community where you're trying to like both meet people in the city and play games. So it's like that, but it's like weird games that are kind of like fun or funny. So they become more of an icebreaker, and like people aren't advantaged, right? So like if I played soccer and we have like a community sports, like a social sports thing, and we play kickball and I played soccer, I'm just like freaking dominant out there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I can put that ball wherever I want. But like this is like, oh no, it's going to be so weird that like nobody's nobody's going to be better than anyone else at this. And if you are, like, maybe at this week's game, you're like particularly good at that skill set, but at next week's game, it might be feet. Like you might, like this week we're throwing stuff, you're good at that. Next week we're doing stuff with our feet, you're not good at that at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is like a subscription service, monthly box kind of thing.
Yeah. And I think that what the other thing you do here's like another little like key thing that I think keeps people sticky and keeps people coming back is you do games that are like small enough that they can play them in like small friend groups and family units. So you could go, like, if you've got, you know, when you go home for Christmas or whatever, or when you go home for a holiday, like I'm thinking of this in bigger cities where a lot of people are not native to that city. San Francisco, for example, or I don't know. I'm thinking of Californian cities, but it could be anywhere, New York City. When like, it's like, oh yeah, I learned this like game that you can play with like between 4 and 8 people. And here's how it goes. And it's like a fun thing that you can do with your family, or with your friend.
Family, you know.
Yeah, with your family. Exactly.
Right.
So then you're also teaching them. It's like how we learned team handball in PE, or like how sometimes you like learn games in PE and you're like, that's kind of fun. Like I would play that game. So yeah, like that's the other part of it, is that you're like learning these games that you're like, oh yeah, I could play that with another group of people. And it would be like a fun activity that isn't too like, hey guys, we're going to play this game. And everyone's like, what? We're going to play a game? Like, no, it's pretty simple. We just do this. It's like, you know, like it feels non-committal at first, but then it gets more fun. So if you're good at making up the games, you know, like Gaiman's Hot Tub Frisbee, then like this is a subscription service. And I think that you could probably make pretty good money, because if you could get maybe groups of like 10 to 20 people and maybe run like, and maybe it's a once a week or a once a month thing, but you have maybe 2 groups per, like if you get enough people, you have like 2 groups per day that you're doing, might be able to make, like, not charge very much, 20 to 50 bucks a month, and still make pretty good money doing it. And you're just making up games and playing games with people.
Yeah, game master.
Yeah, dude, I think this is a good one. I think you could do this one. And do you know what else I like about it and why I think it would work and why you could get a lot of people, is that it's also sort of ripe for creating content. Like you can just shoot it on your phone and like it will, some of the videos I think will like do pretty well.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see some viral marketing for sure, depending on what it is.
That shake anything loose for you on that one?
No, I mean, I'm just piggybacking on your idea. Like, I like that. I mean, obviously, it's built out by the amount of games and things you can set up, and I mean, there's already a billion like lesser known things to draw from. So I think this doesn't even necessarily take like a super creative person, even though I think in your mind it's like a pretty creative, like, you know, person who makes up nonsense games.
Yeah, I don't think it takes that creative of a person.
Yep.
And I think a lot of the games you wouldn't have to make up. Like you could probably find plenty of games that people have like already made up.
No, for sure.
Yeah, that are pretty good. And you could do some where it's like a game that exists, like, but a lot of people haven't heard of, like CrossNet, for example.
Sure.
It's a game that already exists, but a lot of people haven't heard of it. And it's pretty, like the way that the net heights are and stuff like that, it's a pretty equalized game. Like big groups of people can play it together. So yeah, no, I think that it could work pretty well. All right, I got one more on this one, and then we can go to another one.
Hit it.
I think that another thing you can do here, I'm just playing on the game idea, and this isn't really related to the clip, but you know, it's an offshoot from what we've already been talking about. I think challenge content. And so this is inspired by another like thing I heard, and this clip conflating together. There's like this golf hole somewhere. It's like this roadside attraction that's like, hey, you pull off and there's like this hole that's like, I don't know, 100 yards away or something like that. And you pay $10. And if you get a hole in one, you win like 10,000. So like, it's basically just gambling, like skills-based gambling. You're like, yeah, like, I don't know. I'll take 10 shots at it. I'll take 20 shots at it. Like people spend a little bit of coin here, but like statistically speaking, it's like 0.0025% of people actually win. So mathematically, they like make pretty good money by just like having this land next to the highway and being like, yep, hit golf balls. And if you make a hole in one, we give you $10,000. And, you know, of course, you know, you need a little bit in case a couple people get it right away. But like after that, it'll fund itself. You know what I mean? If after that, like initial little bit of money.
Seems like a decent amount of upkeep though, you know, just like it's like a small golf course, really, right? Like,
Sure, but I actually don't think it is. I think it's like mostly just like you're not playing the course, like you're
Yeah.
just trying to hit it to that hole. So I think you just have to upkeep the green, which that's probably a decent amount of upkeep for sure. But you just have to keep the green in the tee area, and that's pretty much it.
yeah,
And then you probably lose a lot of golf balls out there, so you got to buy golf balls regularly. I think you could do that same idea, but like with a lot of different types of challenges. So like you could roll up to any basketball court and be like, hit 3 threes in a row and I'll give you $10. It's $1 to play, or something. Like you got to figure out the right math. So you might lose a little bit of money at first figuring out the right math, but you can do low stakes, like $10 and $1 type stuff. And that's another thing that I think makes for really good content. Like, hey, do you think you can hit 3 threes in a row for $10? Yeah, I think I can. All right, $1 to play. And if you hit 3 threes in a row, I'll give you $10. And, if it only 1 in every 20 people can do it, then you're going to be making money. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I hear you.
And you're going to be making pretty good content too. And again, anybody can do it. Like, I think you can make decent money doing this.
Gaming. All right. Look at
Yeah.
you off of
Going outside and playing games, outside and playing. How dare people make money doing that stuff?
Yeah.
People get sunburned out there. People get
All right.
outside, man.
Give me with the next one, John. I need another shot of Theo.
All right, here we go.
Defensive vomiting.
There's a Phillies fan defensive vomited on a kid one time.
Really?
At a game, yeah. The guy in front of him was talking shit and he puked on his son during the baseball game.
Yeah.
Defensive. That guy's a turkey vulture.
Dude, yeah. That's a Cracker Barrel baptism right there, dude. Yeah.
Got puked on at a baseball game because your drunk dad with one fucking lens in his glasses was mouthing off.
There's way too many fights at these games these days. Or do you think we're just recording them now? That's what it is.
I don't know.
There's always been that many fights.
There has always been that many fights, but it's so easy to get in a fight at a sporting event.
Yeah.
Because you want your team to win so bad. And then there's a guy next to you, like, clapping hard for the other team.
Well, people also yeah, that's true. So
there's, I hate him. I can't control this game, but I can fuck that guy up.
Oh, that's a good point.
I
might be losing by 30 out there, but right
yeah,
here,
I'm about to win.
Yeah.
This is gonna be a moral victory. I'm gonna get arrested after the loss.
Yeah, I'm gonna vomit on this guy's fat son.
Dude, Cracker Barrel baptism is a great line.
Yeah, that was my first thought, is that Cracker Barrel should start doing baptisms, like catering baptisms. For
They
like
just
an
like
untapped
pour
market.
gravy on people.
Yeah, why not, dude?
Yeah,
Cracker
this is
Barrel.
an idea for Cracker Barrel. It's called a Cracker Barrel baptism. It's a catering thing. It's like a gag gift for birthdays, and they just show up and they're like, "All right, come in." Like they have like a
first
booth.
Communions, probably. Like
Communions, bar mitzvahs,
yeah.
any kind of mitzvah.
Doesn't
Coming
discriminate.
out parties, whatever.
Right.
So it's like a booth, like like the catch the money booths, that like blow the money around and you like catch it. It's like that, and they're like, no, like this is, and you like think you're playing a game where you're like, oh, I'm gonna catch some money, and maybe they even have some money in there as a decoy, and then you get in there and they just pour a tub of like, I guess it could be vomit, but probably gravy, probably like Cracker Barrel gravy on you.
Yeah, what a segue to the other half of that, right? Like, what's the product for in the stands? I mean, there's a need for that. Like honestly, I don't even think at first I thought puke poncho, but that's just a poncho.
Yep, that's
and I don't
AKA.
I don't think that's a common enough problem where people are battling it preemptively. But the like hostile environment is a real thing, and especially post loss, and especially if you're in their town and you're trying to get out. Like, there probably is some kind of like, I don't know. I want to say something like something a step down from pepper spray, just like a hey, don't fuck with me kind of like radar you could put out. Some kind of just like, it's like a repellent. It's not a hard protection.
Yes. Okay. I'm going to riff on it a little bit. This is actually an idea I've had before that I think applies here. It's men's shapewear, but hear me out. It's not like women's shapewear where it makes them like look skinny and make their butt look big. This is like men's shapewear is designed to like move your fat around in a way where it looks like you're like pretty
it's like
built.
A frog in nature doing the mating thing. Yeah, I get
Yeah,
it.
it's designed to like move your body, and maybe there's like some hard padding in there somewhere too. That way, if stuff does go down, you're like, I got a little bit of armor on actually. Like
Yeah.
I've got Under Armour, like actual armor. I'm ready to fight, right? And so there's like a little bit of padding that kind of like makes your shoulders look broader, makes your chest look a little bit bigger. You know, it gives you that like Sean McVay look where it's like, I mean, that guy's got some pecs. You know, like I would rather not fight him if I could choose, you know, like that. That's the vibe you're looking to put out. Just like, look, I mean, if we need to fight, you can do it, but like, I look like a guy that you don't really want to fight with, you know?
Yeah, I guess so. I guess that's kind of in the lane, but it doesn't feel. I mean, that feels honestly like it could attract the wrong kind of person just as much as it could deter them. You know, like when somebody
Oh,
wants to
interesting.
fight.
You think that some people like step up to the plate a little bit more for somebody who looks jacked up.
I'm just saying, I would. It's something that has a little bit less, maybe less psychological, a little bit more physical, but not aggressive. You know, like
Yeah.
a stink bomb. Stink bombs, particularly for getting out of a place. Like,
Yeah.
man, I
I think
would
all of
get
this
in that guy's
exists
face. Like,
already. It's called brass knuckles and knives.
that's what I mean. I don't want
Yeah.
a full blown weapon here. I just want something to deter people so you can just get out, right? You need to
Yeah.
beeline. Um,
Maybe there's like some way. Ooh, you know, okay, this might already exist, but maybe it's some sort of like forward flashbang effect.
yeah, there's
So
some legality
it's like a
issues with stuff
weapon
like
that you
that.
can like point forward, and it does like a flashbang where it won't get you, but it will like flashlight and like a sound and kind of temporarily blind and deaf somebody if they're like right in front of you. But you
Yeah.
could do it and like not get yourself, just enough for you to kind of get away.
You know what you really need? What the real thing you need here is because like even the worst fan bases, maybe the very worst, but
Mhm.
only the worst. Like you wouldn't usually have to be worried about them unless you're kind of being the aggressor, being the aggravator, like on your way out, right? Like usually they're just like they're happy enough to kind of generally rub your face in it without like kind of getting in your face, you know?
Yeah.
And usually it's kind of like the we'll get you back kind of thing. Like you get in your feelings, you do some. So I think really is needed is like some way to like bound up the drunkest person in your party. Because let's be honest, it's all about alcohol, really, right? These
Yeah.
post game fights. We need something to like softly restrict, to quickly and softly restrict that like drunkest person in the party in these types of situations. It's honestly could be great for like Billy's had one too many brews at the bar and we need to get him out of here. Like something to some kind of like a gag, but like
Yeah.
hey, this is like a friend. Like I'm using this on my friend for his own good gag. Like
Yeah, like drunk guy handcuffs.
yeah, that kind of idea. Again,
Like a
something maybe a
drunk guy
little
straight,
less
like
like
something that's like a guy who's unruly. It's like pretty easy to get it on him, and like, it's like like you're lassoing like a little cow, like a cowboy. You're just like, but it's for drunk guys, and then you just like pull him out, like, yeah, he's getting a little bit out of hand. Sorry
yeah,
about it.
something like the lasso type of thing. I don't know. It doesn't sound easy to do though.
Yeah.
We need to do some R&D on
Maybe
this.
it's just a taser. Maybe you just got to start. Maybe we got to make it more socially acceptable to tase your friends. Maybe the business idea here is that you launch a taser company, and your whole thing is that you just like make videos about friends tasing each other in like maybe that kind of situation, or maybe just for fun. So then over time, it becomes more socially acceptable to tase each other, and then it's like, no, I carry a taser in case somebody attacks me. And two, in case my buddy's getting, because there's always like one guy who you're like, look, if we're gonna get in a fight, we know who it's gonna be. You know what I mean? We know who's gonna get us into that.
Yeah.
All right, I got one more. This one's a service business, and this is, I mean, look, it does take some a certain set of skills, if you will. If you are an intimidating guy or a scrappy guy, a fighter. It's like a designated driver, but a designated fighter. So it's like your champion, like your house champion, right? Like,
Sure.
it's your mountain from Game of Thrones, where it's like, oh, this guy comes with us. He's not really even one of our friends. He just comes with us to the game, and he's like a scrappy fighter dude, and he doesn't drink while he's there.
Like a bodyguard.
He's like a bodyguard, yeah, but he's not going to start anything, but he's just going to keep other people. I think maybe specifically when people are coming from out of town, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you live in Baltimore, you're basically like advertising the service for anybody who's coming in to a Ravens game that is not a Ravens fan.
I thought about that, but like,
Hard to make regular people pay for a bodyguard.
and especially like if you bring them to a game, you got to pay for a ticket.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe this is just for
Maybe maybe that's the hustle. It's like, no, you're not even trying to make money. You're just trying to go to football games for free, actually.
maybe the NFL should just take it upon themselves to put a certain amount of like of the opposing team's jerseys on like law enforcement types, like security guards there. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Yeah.
a beacon of hope.
Yeah,
That person, like, just get to that guy, you know, like
yeah.
I don't know. There's something
This
there,
is
but
this is a tough one. Let's go to the next one. You want to go to the next one?
Yeah, let's keep moving.
All right.
Who's gonna know? The kids aren't gonna remember this fucking guy.
Dude, most people can't even see that far. How far can people see usually?
What do you mean?
I'm just saying, like, how far can somebody see?
What is
The
that
average
mean?
sight
Pause. Hold on. Oh, dang it. He had already pulled it up.
distance for a person with normal vision is about 3 miles. Get
Wow.
fucked, dude. I thought it was like 70 feet or something.
Why are you asking this question?
I'm not sure exactly, I guess. What were you? We were just talking about David Spade, average read.
Oh,
Whatever, man. We'll move it along.
70 feet is such an undershot. I forgot he said that line because I saw that clip
Even
earlier.
3 miles is an undershot. I mean, I used to work on the water that you can see for a long time as long as there's nothing in the way.
Yeah, well, I think that's what it's saying. It's like on a flat land. But I think after 3 miles, if I remember right, you start to lose some sight to the curvature of the earth.
Maybe some.
Assuming that's true and the earth isn't flat.
Depends
You know,
what
I
you're
don't know.
looking at, though. What if you're
I've
looking at
never been in outer space. How do I know if
what if you're looking at something in the sky? We can all see the moon.
I think that's a good point.
3
Yeah.
miles away.
So if there's like a large object in the distance, you can see further than 3 miles. But I think that what they're like, yeah, that's true. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know what that's not the point here.
I took it as the point. No, you know what? So what I thought of, and maybe there's something to this. Do you remember when we were kids? I want to say like 5th grade-ish age, so probably around like 2000, maybe a little younger even. They had
Right.
those little yak back toys. Did you ever have one of those?
Remind me what a yak back is. Oh, it's like a little electronic toy. You like feed it? Is that right?
No.
Okay.
It's basically like a little kid's like tape recorder kind of thing is what it was. Like it could just record and then play something back, right? And I think it could
like
do
not
like some
very
slow
much
voices
though.
or
It was
something.
like 10 seconds or something like that. Or
Yeah. Something like super quick. But I remember that functionality and just being obsessed with it, right? And like obviously we all have cell phones and stuff. But I think the beauty in what I'm thinking of, in case you forget what you're talking about or something, to have something actively recording, which at this point we all know our phones are actively listening all the time, to be able to be like, hey, what did I say 60 seconds ago? Like what were we talking about? Just
Right.
to have that application. I think
Yeah,
that's something you could probably make pretty easily, like software wise, right? Like with AI and stuff. Like
You
hey,
would
what
have
were we
to
talking
give it
about?
permission to listen to you. Like
of course.
in order for you to make this, you probably could. So like one thing that I really like right now is anything that uses like Chat GPT or AI as a wrapper, where it's like, oh, this seems like a cool little app, but honestly, you could just like no code write this up in like with Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Or with, I don't know what, choose your AI tool here, right?
Right.
Pick your fighter. So I think that, yeah, I like this because it seems simple. It is kind of complex to get stuff in the App Store. I think the thing that would be complex about this one is that, like, in order for it to work, you'd have to be like, hey, cat's out of the bag. It's going to be listening to your conversations.
Well, no, of course.
But-
That's what I mean. That's the whole selling prop.
Yeah, but then I think that it's like, yeah, but here's the thing. It like actually has just like a limited memory to 5 minutes or 10 minutes, or you can set that in the settings. And after that, like we
Yeah.
can't store all of this data. So look,
For
we've
sure,
got to
for
throw it
sure.
away anyway. So
Yeah.
it's not going to like store your conversations. If you're talking about like doing terrorist stuff, it's not going to remember that. We're not a government entity.
That's why I
And-
thought of the yak back, something with
Yeah.
temporary, short term, maybe
Yes.
5-10 minutes long.
This
kind of
is,
thing.
we could call it the Alzheimer's app, right? It can remember, well, actually it would be the opposite.
We could call it yak back, honestly.
What's the opposite of the it's the opposite of Alzheimer's app or the yak back? Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's a throwback.
That's
yak
what I
back
mean. It's
throwback.
kind of getting to be about for our age group, like because we're hitting that point in life where you're like, wait, I don't just remember everything automatically. Like my brain gets foggy. Like I
It is
forget stuff.
true that, well, and I think even when you're younger, you're like, oh, what was I going to say again? I was going to say something to you, or what were we talking about again?
Well, that's the thing too. It's not universal. I mean, it is kind of universal, but like the people who have a problem, I forget what I'm saying while I'm saying it pretty often. So
Yeah.
like I know that I'd be interested in something like this. It's not for everybody, but the
Yeah.
people who suffer from this kind of thing, like Alzheimer's people are the, you know,
Mhm.
the most intense version of it.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
you'd be
that's
very
that's
interested
your
in this,
entry
I would think.
market. Sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead. What'd
Yeah,
you
you'd
say?
be interested in this, right? But like anybody with any kind of pseudo memory issues, or just bad conversational skills could benefit.
Yeah, no, I like it. Dude, a variation that I would like too, this might take a little more technical skill, is, and you'd have to figure out like the UX, like how do you actually make this? One of the biggest problems I have, you know this about me, I'm a big time interrupter. And I think this is a common ADHD like trait, is that we interrupt because we know we will forget. Like I've got something to say, and I know by the time you're finished, I will forget it. And or if I let the next person talk and don't jump in before them, I'll forget it. So we interrupt, but then we're also ADHD. So that quick thing we were going to say ends up taking like 10 minutes, and then I'm like, 10 minutes later, I'm like, oh, sorry, Casey, I interrupted you. What were you saying? You're like, dude, what? I don't know.
Yeah.
So this would help with that kind of thing, but it would help you, not me. I think that a thing that I would love is like, I don't know what the form function of this is. I don't know how you use it, but a thing that would like store the thing that I'm going to say. So I'm not afraid I'll lose it. You know what I mean?
That's tough. That sounds like the like ever wanted, hey bro, can you go take a pee for me while you're up kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how you get from point A to point B here, you know? I don't know how we accomplish
Okay.
this task. I want to.
If I'm spitballing this, I think easiest kind of MVP here is if you are a person, if you go and like, again, use Chat GPT and write up like a basic course around like memory storage and creating like a memory palace or whatever freaking people do that like have audiographic or photographic memories or whatever. Because I think you can train that kind of stuff. So just like interact with Chat GPT and write up like a basic course. You could sell a course on like hey, do you interrupt people because you're afraid you're going to forget what you were going to say? Here's a simple trick. And that's like the hook of either an ad or that's like a lead magnet. Here's a simple like lead, like a, PDF on how you can train yourself to stop doing that and still remember what you were going to say. And then that kind of leads into this course around, memory and storage and like creating your whatever memory palace or whatever people call it, memory castle, some people call it.
Yeah, these things will all become a lot easier to do once we're just fully integrated with technology. And our
Yeah, that's true. Once we're just cyborg, like
hard drives we plug into our forearm
that's
stuff.
yeah, you can do this for a solid 3-4 years before every human becomes a cyborg, and then you're just gonna be SOL.
Right.
All right, dude. You want to do another one?
Theo Von, baby.
All right, let's do it.
I was young, I used to think about, I guess my big thing that I wanted when I was young, that rich people seem to have porches. They had a porch on their house, and you'd see somebody with that big porch. And a porch, it was like, oh, you got outside? Oh, you got inside, but you got it outside. Like, damn, y'all must be doing well if you have an inside that is outside. And if you saw somebody with a porch, and sometimes they had furniture out there, you'd even see like during a party or something, put a television out there and watch the games. And when I was young, that was my big thing. And I pictured a wife, and I would have a wife, where it could have been a husband with long hair, but I think, my visions weren't super clear, but it seems like a wife.
All right. I mean, simple thing here would be like outdoor movie setups that are kind of weatherproof. Either being an installer, being a door-to-door salesperson for them, or actually creating the products.
Yeah, I was thinking full-blown Papa Porch.
Yeah, dude, that's what I was thinking at first too. How does that? Tell me more. Say more about that.
Yeah, I mean, as he kept talking, it became more clear he was talking about more of like a built-out porch, but at least just like the like a small, basic version of a porch. Like I'm sure there's something you could essentially pop up, that was structurally sound enough that you could walk on it, right? Like that must exist. You could manufacture such a thing. I think. I mean, it wouldn't be cheap. It would be worth considering making a real traditional porch probably instead.
Yeah.
But I don't know, for whatever reason, maybe you don't want it all the time. Maybe it'd
Yeah.
be a hassle in the winter or something. You want to pop it out for the summer. Just some kind of like pop-upable platform, really. Maybe you could just put it out in the yard. Like it's just kind of like a nice, already built, like kind of basically like a pop-up deck sort of thing. Like maybe it's just like a square or something. Like just something that's a little bit more substantial flooring outside, because that is a nice feeling. A lot of people don't understand it. I personally, I had like a fully like a full covered porch.
Covered porch.
Yeah, in my back porch, which was like a whole addition to the house. It wasn't just like I've tried to explain it to some people because I really.
Oh, I mean, I was there, so I know.
Yeah, but for people who don't know, like when I was looking for a house, like I wanted a room like that, and my wife was like, "Oh, like a mud room," and I'm like, "No, not like a mud room. I'm talking like a whole livable outside thing." It was like, like one of those.
I would call yours. It was like a sunroom, kind of.
Yeah, it had sun. It had like what do you call?
I think that's what they call it. I think the word that you're looking for is sunroom. Google sunroom, not right now.
Sunroom. Yeah, it was pretty similar to a sunroom. Yeah, but a lot of times those aren't like those don't have exits.
I'll put it this way. Yeah, that's true. A lot of times they don't.
So that's why it's
what you had at your house. I would call it a sunroom if I had to pick a word for it, but that's underselling it.
Yeah, I always called it a covered porch. Like it was a real big covered porch. Like
think like covered porch and sunroom have a baby, and it's a pretty big baby. That's what was on Casey's house.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so,
it is pretty sweet. It's a sweet feeling. I get it. If you don't have it, like it's nice to have it. Like Theo's being Theo, just rambling, but like that, the desire is there. The need is there. So how do we make this happen? Do you have any ideas?
Yes. Okay. All right. Let me riff on yours a little bit, and then I've got some others. So first of all, I think pop-up could be simple enough. I think what makes a porch really feel like that kind of luxury experience is that it's covered, and it's like an outside shady spot that you can like. My in-laws have a wraparound porch, like looking over their front yard, and the way it is like in the evenings, it's not sunny right there. So like our backyard, we've got one on our front yard. We've got a small porch on our front yard. It's covered and it faces away from the sun in the evenings. And it's a very relaxing, like kids can be playing in the yard and you're just chilling. Right. So that's what makes it feel like a luxury experience. So I think it would be hard as a pop-up, but I think, I don't know, you could probably do some basic product design again, use some AI tools and then, send it to some Chinese manufacturers and see if they could do it. I think, if I'm spitballing this, I think that what you really do here, the hustle here is actually very simple. It's just going and be like, all right, can I on the weekends or whatever sell, this add-on? Like, can I, here's a good one. Okay, I got two good ones, and these are like existing things. Like these are proven businesses, people can do them. Number one is just like run Google ads for like covered porch installation, Spokane, Washington, covered porch installation, Kansas City, Missouri, cover and just run those Google ads and like take the calls, and you could use probably some AI tool or an overseas, like, Philippines call center, or you could just have the calls come to you at first to get it figured out in your city. And then like people call you and they're like, oh yeah, I'm looking for this. And then all you do is like, yeah, cool. Let me get somebody out there to quote it. And then you farm it around to the different, like you just make a couple connections to the people who install porches in your city, and you send one of them over there to do a quote, and you get cut in on the deal. And you just like
business.
Yep, it's just a lead gen business. This works for local lead gen, especially for services like that, like porch installation, landscaping, that kind of thing.
What are the odds that they have a crossover skill of like good online marketing with their porch business?
That's exactly why it works. And a lot of times they don't even answer the phone when people do call them.
Right.
So
they don't know how. They've never used one before.
Exactly. They're like,
we only know porches here.
Or they're like in the middle of installing a porch currently, they're like, I can't get to my phone. I'm holding up a 4x4, right? So I think that that's a business. And then here's another one that I have heard of, or that like, I know that there's somebody doing this, and like a couple people have done this same business in different cities and it's worked. it's porch decoration. So they just come by like once every week or once every 2 weeks, and they decorate your, like, they just like they like place some planter boxes or some stuff that just punches up your porch look a little bit, right? They place some planter boxes or something like that, and they change out the plants in them. You know, maybe they put some lights. They have like a decorate, and they like come by and they update the decorations on a regular basis. And it fits your style and stuff like that. And then they do seasonal ones. So it's like during Christmas, it's a little more Christmassy and then like, basically it's like, oh yeah, we've always got our outside, like, you know, area that welcomes people into our home looking pretty spiffy. And like during the holidays, it's like kind of already, it's always like decorated how we want it. And that is a business people are doing in different cities. And the way they do it is they just, like find a couple people that they can do it for, take pictures, put them on Instagram, and then like other people ask about it, and that's how they get business. So those are a couple like actual practical things I think literally anybody can do.
Makes total sense.
I think the big swing idea here is if you can come up with some kind of like product innovation where you're doing like a covered pop-up porch, that
would be sick.
It'd be hard.
That sounds difficult. You know what is feasible is, instead of pop a porch, rent a porch, like Porch B&B.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Just like matchmaking service of like, hey, I'm out of town, or I'm just going to be inside for a while, you know, like I'm not expecting company. Anybody who wants to come like rent my porch space real quick for like a couple hours and have their kids maybe play in my yard.
Yeah.
Whatever, you know, like it could be different add-ons to the service, but just basically like you want to have a beer on a porch. Like you don't have a porch. I do have a porch. I'm not using it right now.
Yeah.
You use it. Like, I think is like up and down as the Airbnb model has gotten. I think that is the way of the future. The more we're like figuring out how to monetize what we have, like people are getting to where they've over the last few years, they've been like kind of consolidating what they own and trying to like hold on to more valuable assets. But as that gets like harder to do, like I feel like you need a way to like share them, essentially like renting a room out of your home or something, you know. People don't want to do it on like a big scale. I think renting if you knew you could make $100 extra a month just by a couple times a week, or a couple times a month, like literally twice a month, you made $100.
Yeah.
You rented your porch out for, let's say 90 minutes at $50 a pop in your pocket. Would you do that?
Dude, yeah. And to extend on this, I think if you've got like kind of a nice porch / yard area and like a nice grill, you know, that kind of thing, you could just be like, yeah, it's like a backyard. You come rent my backyard for 2 hours, have a barbecue, grill with your friends, grill with your family type of thing. There's some stuff back there for kids to play with, whatever. And, you know, and maybe it's an additional fee. It's like, okay, I'll like stay away. Like there's an additional fee for like, I'm not there, you know, at all. Like I go somewhere else for that time. And then there's like a different price for like, yeah I'm around if you need me, but you know,
there's definitely some liability issues, and what really feels like the best.
But
like
they're similar to Airbnb. Like Airbnb has already sort of like paved the way on these liabilities.
Basically that, right? But I think what is the best use case for this that is also has the most liability is pools. Because so few people have them relatively, but people want them, especially in the summer. I mean, imagine like you get done using your pool basically, and you're like, I mean, we're done with the pool today, but you could make money renting it out.
Pools and trampolines. Yeah.
Especially if there was a way to vet people like very particularly.
I mean, look, they can sign a waiver, I suppose, you know, trampoline, same thing. Like you got a trampoline back there, you're going to have to sign a waiver, but no, I actually kind of like that idea. I mean, the one side of it is like, if that ever gets built out, you could be the person who like just puts your stuff on there. The other side of it is like, if you really want to take a big swing, go raise money, make a big business, then you could be the person who builds that app. Like we're Airbnb, but for backyards.
Yeah.
All right. I like it. You want to do another one, or you got any other good ones on the porch?
No, I'm good on the porch now.
All right.
To a gay man would be fun because there's a feminine energy to him that would be like almost like having a girlfriend.
Oh, it's the largest Pomeranian you can have if you're a woman, is a gay husband. Yeah.
Yes.
That's it. That's the clip.
Oh wow. Okay. Gay husband. I feel
gay husband, large Pomeranian. There's something here.
I mean, I don't want to keep going back to the same well too often, but I feel like you could, like, gay men could rent their husbands out to lonely women who need a friend, you know, like need a gay friend. Again, it's kind of like
gay men are in a long-term relationship, And then
Yeah.
like I'm just like a game in for hire, you know, like I'm just a game in for specifically platonic friendship with a woman.
Right. Because I mean, we've seen it time and time again. It's tales all the time. The straight ladies and the gay dudes, they pair up. It happens, you know,
Yeah, they're good friends. They
it's
like each other.
nature.
Yeah.
And yeah, but if you move to a new city, you don't have access to a porch or a gay friend.
Yep.
Boom, look at that. You could hit two birds once. That could be the same app, honestly. Like that could be one of the add-ons. Like, do you have a gay friend that could hang out on that porch?
Dude, that just reminds me of, have you seen the show? You've seen the show Scrubs?
Sure.
There's a like whole season where he like one of the main characters buys a plot of land and he doesn't have money to build a house, but he has enough money to build a porch. So he builds a porch on it.
Hell yeah.
And then he like the next season, he's like, he like gets kicked out of his apartment and he's like, I'd go to my porch, but it had become a hangout for local gays. And it was just like always a bunch of gay dudes partying on his porch. He's like, get out of here. He's always running off a bunch of gay guys. It's not a business idea, but that's just what that reminded me of.
It's all right. That's what it inspired.
Gay people
inside of
do
you.
love porches.
Yeah, I guess so. That's the thing, right? Like, yeah, I mean, that's what I feel like with all these ideas. When you have something you don't like, you want something you don't have, just rent it from somebody, you know, make that process simple. Like,
Dude, you're really on like renting your stuff right now.
yeah, I mean, I
it's good.
I don't know.
And I also like, because it is very like side hustly, like let people use your
Yeah.
stuff for a fee. It doesn't take any skills.
For sure.
Or
I mean, what do you got?
middleman and facilitate that kind of thing, right?
You know, they say one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Sure.
Like, I'm not
I've
saying
heard that
anything
once or twice.
I'm not sure. I'm not talking anything we've talked about as trash, but the idea that something you have, somebody else wants more, why not let them have it for a little bit, you know,
Mhm.
as long as they compensate you.
All right. So some practical ones here. Dog breeding. It is a business I've done. We're actually, dude, I haven't told you this. We've got puppies at our house right now. We're doing another litter of puppies.
Wow.
We're breeding dogs. Pomeranian mixes are pretty nice, expensive dogs. There is a couple ways, and I'm just going to practically give advice here. There's a couple ways that you can make money in dog breeding. Number one, the way that we do it is you can be
Sell
a
the
guardian.
dog meat.
What's
Oh,
that?
Is that not
Sell
it?
dog meat. That is, I mean, look, dude, if there are certain countries you live in or certain, clientele
There's
that you may or
Chinatown
may not
in
have.
Utah, right? You guys have Chinatown there, right?
We got, dude. Well, I mean, look, we've got a large Hispanic population. I don't know if they eat dog. I'm unfamiliar, but
Depends how hungry you are, you know?
yeah, I mean, I think anybody's going to eat dog if they get real hungry.
I
And
agree.
likewise, I think any dog's going to eat human if they get real hungry. So
Not Lassie.
that's Lassie will starve to death before she eats a human, huh?
That's right.
Okay, so a couple ways you can make money is the way that we do it, which is being a guardian family. So that basically just means that you get a breeder has a lot of dogs in their program, but they can't have them all at their house usually because they live in just normal places. They don't, unless they live on some big dog farm. They just like live in a normal house. So they need other people to own the dogs. So the way it works is you usually get the dog for free. And a lot of times it's a more expensive type of dog that would cost a lot of money. You get the dog for free, but you can't fix it. And when it's time to breed, you give it back to the owner, they breed it. And then a couple ways that you can make money. Sometimes they'll pay you a little bit of a fee just every time it breeds or whatever. But you can do what we do, where you say, hey, we'll actually have the puppies at our house and we'll raise them. Usually the owner will then give you supplies and some directions and stuff like that. And then you can have the puppies at our house. We're getting paid, I think it's like $500 for every week we raise the puppies, and they have to be raised to 8 weeks. So we're going to make a minimum of $4,000 because we've done this before and we know we can raise them to 8 weeks. Obviously another way that you could do this is by being a breeder. A lot of just regular people get into being a breeder. It's a little tougher, but you do make a little bit more money. The other way that you can make money is by owning a stud. So owning a male that you don't fix, but then you do have to have an unfixed male dog, and that is not super fun.
Bro, hear me out.
Okay.
Is there a similar model that you could do with humans? Hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Adoption's a thing that already exists, right?
Sure.
And then, as much as we don't want to admit it, some kids are more adoptable than other kids, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
Like
technically.
littler like babies are more adoptable.
Yeah, that's
than-
what I mean. Like the
for
people
ex-
want certain.
as an example.
Right, exactly. Or perhaps there's like a certain race you would want of that happens. That was
Some
a big
races are
trend
more adoptable than other races, maybe.
back. Well, to each in particular person. Yeah, like
Sure, yeah, like they might
so
have a race preference.
same way we have like designer dogs.
Okay.
Imagine if you could request like a designer. I mean, I think they kind of have this to some degree, but I'm talking about taking this to the private sector and really scaling this thing up. You
Okay.
get like a few studs, like you were saying. You get a couple of really studly dudes with some really dominant like attributes, different shapes and sizes, different breeds, if you will.
Yep.
And same thing on the other side with the ladies. You really don't need that many to make a lot of different combinations, right? Maybe 4
You're
of
gonna need
each.
not a lot of men, but you're gonna need a lot of women.
That's true. Yeah, the turnover rate. That's true.
You're not gonna like want to keep popping out.
Hey, you
babies.
want to go halves on me with this one?
Yeah.
No, anyway, yeah, you need a bunch of women, and you're able to pick like, I want that one mixed with that one. And I mean, I'm dehumanizing people a big time
Yeah.
right now, but you pay extra to be able to do that.
Okay. All right. Let me run
And
with
then,
it.
wait. But then not only do they have the baby, maybe even they raise the baby a little bit for you. You can be like, I want to take over when they're 7.
Yeah, I'm not into the baby thing. I don't really want to do diapers.
Do kids have rights? Is that even? I don't know. I think
No, I don't. I mean,
think there's a
okay.
legal loophole.
So if we're, I think, if we're joking about this idea, then yeah, you can totally, raise the kid for a little bit for sure. I think that you could, if you if you appeal to, there's like a certain market of people who like, there's levels of wealth in this world that are, if you can get access to those people, like there are people who pay $150,000 to fly private anywhere they fly. Like they
to
never
a private
fly.
island
No,
where
just
there
fly
might
on a
be
private jet. Anywhere.
children.
They could be flying from Spokane to Salt Lake City, and they're going to pay
All right.
200 grand to do it private on a private jet instead of in an airplane.
You didn't want to follow me on my.
You're going for the Epstein joke. I know.
Well, I mean, we were already talking about kids, and you go private flight. Like, what are we doing?
I'm trying to legitimize your idea a little
You
bit.
spoon-fed me a ridiculous thing, though. I had to. I mean, what are we talking about?
So like, I don't know, people like Epstein and Diddy are these kinds of people who would fly private.
Really, they're just bringing people together.
They're just they're intro guys is what you might call them,
There
right?
you
They're connectors. That's their
Networkers.
superpower. Networkers. This is a way you can make money for sure. But if I'm running with your idea, if you can get access to like very wealthy people who either want to adopt because they like don't want to go through having a kid, or they're having infertility issues, which are more and more common these days.
Right.
Like infertility is tough and adoption is tough, but I think there's like a level of wealth where you're like, look, I want to adopt, but I don't want it to be tough. Like I will just pay whatever amount of money for it to not be tough. So I think level 1 here is you could just be like an adoption concierge where you're like, don't worry about it. I got you. I'm going to do everything. Right. Level 2 here is that you create this, like, again, this is if a person is willing to pay enough money, it's like, look, you offer women with certain levels of genetics. You're like, look, this is all opt-in. I'm not forcing you, but 25 G's to have one baby. And then, the men, I don't think that part's going to be hard. Like you can pay them the normal, like sperm bank.
We'll pick up your lunch.
Yeah. We got pizza. Oh yeah. I like pizza. What kind? We got like vegetarian pizza. No. Oh, we could go whatever. Like, I don't know if you like meat lovers, we could get meat lovers. Do you like meat?
Honestly, you don't even have to tell the guys what's going on. Just like pay the woman and have her smile at him for like 10 seconds.
Yeah. Or just be like, well, no, hold on. You're thinking about actually breeding these 2 human beings. That's a whole other level.
That's exactly the rich people who you're talking about want designer babies.
Yeah, but they don't have to actually do the act. You can just like take.
They don't want to rescue.
I mean, look, if they want to, I guess you could be like, well, it's optional. That's up to you. It's an opt-in thing.
Yeah.
But also we can just inseminate, do the normal artificial insemination process. We can just do the turkey baster thing here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Is that what you were imagining, turkey baster? I think you were imagining like, I mean, they're 2 beautiful people. Obviously they'd want to just, do it.
I don't know. Whatever is the most effective, right? Like, I don't know what is.
So in any case, yeah, I think the fee for the women would have to be high, and you would have to you'd always have to be recruiting women, and you would always have to be recruiting customers. But assuming that you have a certain kind of customer who's willing to pay $250,000 to $500,000, yeah, I think this could be a business. You'd have to have a way to network with those kinds of people, and you would have to have a way to recruit women into this without seeming creepy. And yeah, I don't think you'd have very many problems with the dudes.
Boom.
And that legitimizes it. And you could probably raise money for an idea like that from certain people.
From certain people. Yeah.
I mean, you can't go the traditional, VC route, but from
People
certain...
you've blackmailed. Yes.
All right. Next clip. You ready?
Sure.
Did a damn pigeon the other day, and let's be honest, bro, these bitches they don't have any shoulders, bro. So right out the gate, they fucking probably, they're lying about a lot of shit. They look like they've been smoking too. A lot of pigeons are just doves that smoke. If you want to know what smoking will do to your lungs, look at a dove and then look at a pigeon, baby. There's a picture of a pigeon eating gum online. There's a video of a pigeon eating gum. They don't give a fuck, dude. I was at the doctor the other day. I saw a pigeon there. What kind of bird goes to the doctor? Not one of God's birds, buddy. Pigeons. Dirt birds. Dick chickens. Pigeons are just doves that, probably were raised in Philadelphia or something. Don't lie to me that pigeons aren't from Philadelphia. A lot of pigeons are bookies. Look under their wing. Jets -7, it'll say. You telling me that's a coincidence?
I mean, it's all true.
Dude, this is classic Theo. He does this thing where he plays the name game. So it's like, if he was saying the Bible, he'd be like, that old Jesus book, that old, you know what I mean? Yeah, he does this form of comedy where he plays the name game, but he's the absolute king at it. Dirt birds, dick chickens. Just a dirty dove, dude. Anyway, okay. Anything here? Do you got anything here?
Well, if you want to make money, definitely don't ever take the Jets -7.
Yeah,
that's never hit in the history of the world.
That one hasn't hit for years.
Yeah, it's been a while. I think it was last century.
That's true. If you want to make money, maybe just take the Jets to lose in a straight up. Take the Jets to lose on the money line, and more often than not, you'll make money.
You could start an elaborate hoax business, like a fake bird cleaning business, and just show pictures of pigeons, and then the after picture is a dove.
Yeah, there we go. I like that. It's a pair, you
bird rehab, if you will.
Yeah, bird rehab, bird spa. You run a bird spa. It's mobile, right? So you get a little van, bird spa. You take
bird baths everywhere.
Bird baths, and yeah, in your advertising, you just do false advertising where you show a pigeon and then a dove, and you're like, this is the bird spa.
Correct.
Lake City Bird Spa.
There are no bad ideas in a brainstorm. So
okay, all right. So I'm actually going to go with here my first reaction to this, that Theo is incredibly good. Theo's gift as a podcaster is that he is just so good on his feet, right? He's so quick-witted, and he's so good at having a left turn, just such a sudden left turn, or he's good at playing the name game. So I am going with an idea here where it's you could start this out as another Chat GPT wrapper, where it's a sort of an app, but the thing it's doing is it's doing a practice of a daily practice of improv, situational improv with you, where it's not like improv games where you're trying to be an improv person, but it's helping you become more situationally funny, right? So it's helping you get, so it's giving you a prompt, and it's having a conversation back and forth with you, reacting to what you say. And then you're coming back with jokes, and then it's kind of critiquing and saying that one might've been really offensive, but it could have been really funny, or you could have went this direction with that joke, and that might have been a little bit better. Or it could be or if you get stuck, it could be oh, a good trick you could use here is you can like do this kind of story or do this kind of like there's like simple formulas you can use. Like the name game is one of them if you're good at that. Another one is like list of 3 things, so it's like I don't know, like they always say like,
some Johnny Cochran stuff, you mean?
Yeah, it's like a list of 3, another formula, for example, is like a list of 3 things where the third thing is like a curveball. So it's like, yeah, I don't know. They always say like put your best foot forward when you're dating, but like on the dating app, how are they supposed to know that I'm like funny or that I'm charismatic and successful or like or that I like to go down on women? Like so the third thing is a curveball, right? So like that's like another formula. That one wasn't very funny, but like that. So this is just an interactive thing that you like kind of practice. It's like a meditation app. It's like Headspace, but for being more situationally funny or being more situationally charismatic. And I think that you could do this with a Chat GPT wrapper. I don't think you'd have to do much like coding.
Yeah, I definitely don't think you're gonna get nobody interested for sure. I mean, it's just a matter of like who, you got to build that desire for that outcome.
Okay, so one of the biggest channels on YouTube is a channel called Charisma on Command. And if you look at their like I think that you could just make like Instagram ads based on their titles of video, like their videos that do the most views. So, like some of their videos that have done the most views, I'll just read some of them to you, are like
how to make eye contact at the dry cleaners.
6 killer jokes that make people obsessed with you. The habit that makes people instantly like you less. So some of them are like more fear-based. How to stop being boring in conversations. This is like, I think a lot of people are like, dude, people watch these videos, what losers? I'm like, no, this is a normal, like a lot of these videos have well over 3 million views. A lot of them have over 5 million views.
This is like when people say that people who eat McDonald's are slobs. It's like,
but yeah,
they sell about 1 billion hamburgers
like 80 or 90% of people eat McDonald's at least once a month.
Boom.
Yeah. So how to make women feel great around you, how to make women feel comfortable around you. So I think there's just a lot of like ad angles like that, where you could just do an ad that's like, here's a quick trick to make women feel more comfortable around you when you're like in a social setting. And then if you want more like this, download this app, download the Riz app, or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I do like that, I'm in. You sold me.
Anything else here? Or you good on this one?
I think I'm good on this one. You got time for what? One more?
One more. Let's do one more quick one. I'll end with another Shane one because I know Shane is your favorite comedian. Let's go. But you got to give me a second to get it pulled up here. Sorry, dude.
It's all right.
All right, here we go.
One of refs of kids games is fucking nice, because that guy's a fucking loser.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's so mean.
That guy wants to have control in the community, though.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I got to ref this fucking 7th grade football game today.
Yeah.
And then there's some parent like, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, you fucking.
That was a hold, you fucking dumbass.
Yeah, that was a hold. Get your ass out your ass. Yeah. Somebody will yelling
I'm gonna
that.
follow you to the parking lot and beat your fucking ass.
Dude, they're crazy.
These guys have to like run to their cars after middle school football games.
For $12 an hour, the guy has to fucking almost die in his community just because he fucking wants to work on the weekends.
Sprint, dude.
And own a
in that
whistle.
dumb fucking outfit, you gotta take your hat off.
Yeah, this is it right here.
League rat. Look how drunk all these dudes are. These dudes are shit faced.
Yeah, unbelievable, dude.
That is nice though, getting fucking wrecked and going and coaching a game. Yeah. Umping a game, shit face.
Have you done it?
No, I haven't. I have not.
You seem like you would be able to do it.
I coached little midget football.
Did you really?
Yeah.
It was really Pop little
Warner.
people? Oh, you were
Pop Warner. We called it midget.
Yeah.
8th grade, we called it midget league.
Yeah, some people used to call it that, and some people still do call it that.
People do.
So you coach like little people football?
Yeah.
Okay, well, there's an idea. Little person football league. I mean,
Boom.
I don't know if you would get them on board with that, but there's probably enough of them. You get them on board. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, some of
baby.
the most viral videos. There's this incredibly viral video that's gone around like every platform. That is like a bunch of super fat dudes playing soccer against a bunch of little people. And everybody loves this video. And everybody's like, I feel horrible, but this is hilarious.
Yeah, no, I mean, sounds good. I like those like weird matchups. Like, it's always funny when they like, don't mean to be this guy, but when the like high school boys like JV team beats the like women's national soccer team.
Yeah.
I only say that example because it's like, oh, you're taking two things that like don't really belong, like playing against each. Like, I want to see more matchups like that. Like for any fans of MMA before the UFC got big, before they really like decided, hey, let's use weight classes. They had some wild matches where it was just, here's this 300-pound dude who can hit like a brick shit house and has a little bit of boxing experience, but that's it. And then here's some 80-pound jujitsu master who's been meditating for 8 years. And let's see what happens when we toss them into a match against each other. I want to see more stuff like that. So I'm all in favor of like the obese versus the vertically challenged. That's fine with me. I like that idea. I think we should have more matchups like that. That's good entertainment. That's just good American entertainment.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you could do that, just in your town, and just be like, look, it's a rev share on the YouTube revenue, dude. I go around towns and I find weird matchups for different sports. And I got a YouTube channel where I do that. And if you participate, either you pay them a small fee to participate, or you pay them in exposure if they're the kind of person who wants exposure, not exposure, but people knowing about it. They're trying to build a following for their like fat guy YouTube channel or their vertically challenged YouTube channel. Or maybe pay them a rev share on that video or something like that.
We need to bring back sideshows, like that's just
kind of a little circusy type thing. All right. I like
in the day where like we're supposed to be proud of who we are, identity matters. Like, don't be ashamed of who you are, no matter who you are. Like that feels like a time like show off who you are. And if you want to get compensated, I mean, that's essentially what a sideshow is. So if you're what's the framing? If you're an extraordinary person or whatever,
if you're I can't remember exactly how he says
calling all extraordinary people, do some of that, do some backyard wrestling, make your own wrestling.
Yeah, a little Kimbo Slice. Let's bring that back. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I got one on this, and then I'm gonna call an audible. I do want to show one more clip because I had like.
By the way, that referee needs that's full circle back to the like getting out of the
same idea with Shane, or the other Shane and Theo clip. Yeah,
whatever ends up being the solution to that one, it's perfect for this too. So
I got one idea on this. It would be for an existing business, and I'm gonna call it Bud Light ad since it had Shane Gillis in it. Bud Light doing an ad that's basically just like, look, it's like basically targeted toward umps and refs and being like, this is bullshit. You should just get drunk before you go. Or like, oh, we invented this new like I don't know, beer, like a beer where like the smell, it's like maybe it's got like mint in it or something like that. People won't know you're drunk because they won't smell it on your breath.
Maybe it hydrates you too. Maybe
so you can go ump drunk. I don't think Bud Light's going to do that, but like a little bit more unhinged challenger liquor brand will. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I think you already got that with
I mean, whoever the liquid death of alcohol is would do that ad.
Yeah. I mean, Mike's Hard Lemonade or something is very interested in that idea.
Right. Yeah. Okay, I got one more I wanted to show you because I actually have an idea for this one.
Okay, hit me.
Made a mistake. I saw a man the other day and he was in he had a hat on, right? And so I went up and it said Mariners, and so I said, oh, are you a big fan? I said, unfortunately, you guys are one of the only teams never to win the championship, the Major League Championship. And he just looked, he said, excuse me? I said, Seattle, you guys are one of the only teams to never win it. It's unfortunate. And he just kind of looking at me weird. I said, I love Ichiro. And I'm not going to, racially profile him, but, he could be Bobby Lee's daddy. I'll say that. You wouldn't be surprised if you looked up the Sung Sang dynasty and he was in one of the arts. And he's like, what are you? And at this point, I can tell he's getting a little upset. And I started to think something was wrong. I started to feel high, honestly. And he's like, well, what in the fuck are you talking about? I said, the Mariners. And I pointed his hat and it said Marines on it. And, I mean, just damn,
Okay, do you have anything on this one? If you've got something, then go.
Nah, hit me.
All right. So earlier this week, I have another podcast that's more of like a podcast for marketing, about marketing, and like, I don't know, like products and stuff like that. It's a little more of a serious podcast. And the one of the co-hosts on it, she's ADHD, and then she recently found out that she's like on the spectrum as well. She's autistic, and she like cannot function in her life. So she has like a best friend who's a super organized person who basically organizes and runs her life for her, which sounds amazing. And it made me think, if you are a very organized person and you have a friend who is like super ADHD, but super smart and gifted at a certain thing, this is a form of betting on people where you say, I think this person's got potential. If they could just be directed, I'm going to manage their life for them so that they can, like this girl who I'm talking about, she's got a very successful business, a very successful agency, like customer experience agency. And like her handler person, she calls her the handler. I'm not coming up with that.
I like it.
She calls her handler.
Calls her Chelsea.
Yeah, just like, you know, calls her what did you say?
Chelsea handler. Come on.
All right. That was a leap. I wouldn't have got it if you didn't explain it to me.
What's her name? I don't know.
So her handler person is like just like very organized and like runs her life for her and benefits financially from it. But she is next level organized because she's actually like a working lawyer and she runs her own life and she runs somebody else's life. But yeah, I think this is my business idea. A simpler version. Find some of your, some friends, make some friends with autistic people. First of all, because they're just a good time. And secondly, because you can be like, if they ever do become successful, or ADHD people, but autistic people specifically, you can be like, look, wouldn't you love to just like be yourself in public and not be always worried about if the thing you're saying or doing is socially acceptable? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, here's what I'm going to do. I am just going to come be your like public wingman anytime you go places. So like when you're doing this bit where you're like talking about the Mariners and it's the Marines, I'm going to laugh like you're joking. And like, then people are just going to think you're super funny, or if something like, if the shit really hits the fan, then I'll bail you out and be like, oh buddy, there you are. Sorry. He got out of the facility again. He's like an escape artist, right? Like, I'm just going to like kind of play it off. So they're like, oh, okay. There's I knew there was something off about this guy. Right. Like, so you just be like, I'm going to be your social bailout person who, for the most part, I'm going to pump you up. So people are like, I don't know, dude, he's kind of awesome. And you can just be yourself. Like, I feel like for autistic people who are, I don't know, I'm not trying to like exploit autistic people for money, but I do think actually managing someone, like managing their life, if they're someone who could be very successful, if somebody would just manage all of the like little logistical aspects of their life and then just being like, yeah, I'm just part of your business now. That's exactly how the handler, in this case, Chelsea the handler, makes money.
I love the idea of this. I mean, I
love the idea of actually having somebody manage my life. I might pay for that.
Completely. Like, if they could figure out a way to make it like, not really intensive for them, so they could maybe do a few people kind of thing, so it wasn't too outrageous of a cost.
That's one way, or one big bet on one gifted person.
That would be huge too, but I identify with this too. I mean, I've always been, since high school, I've been the person like, man, if you could only apply yourself, you could really be something. And I'm like, why don't you just apply me for me?
Yeah.
Like, just do that.
Point me point me at something. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I like it. I think one big bet on one. Here's the thing. I see this working one time in one like situation. I don't think that you could do this as like a client business. I think it's like, you have to find, this person is also her best friend. Mm-hmm. So this is like, you're like, oh no, you're finding an Elon Musk and you're like, I'm hitching my wagon to that. Wait, I'm hitching my, well, how's the phrase go? I'm hitching my wagon to that horse.
Yeah.
Like, you're finding your Elon Musk, right?
Right.
They're probably not going to be Elon Musk, but there's plenty of like socially awkward, neurospicy people who are incredibly intelligent and gifted if they had that person.
For sure.
That's my idea. That's the dude. That's the sode. I didn't like that.
Eh,
Didn't like that. We're not going to do that one again. Episode is what I meant.
that's
The
the
sode
soda.
wasn't good. Wasn't a good one. That's the ep. Do the things that people say to do. Subscribe, leave a review, comment. You know, tell Casey that his beard looks good and that you like his hat because he was a little self-conscious about the hat beforehand. Okay, bye.